want some nasty.
Mój das ma gap, więc chodź do tańca, gdy wciąż to szansa i los nam gra. Mam duszę starca, nie lubię walca na palcach gap. Na palcach gap, na palcach gap.
What's good, Spurs Nice? It's your boy Clan, the Spurs fan, and I'm here with a brand new video for y'all. If you could, give me a like, subscribe, and turn that notification bell on. Now, first off, your boy needs a shave because, ugh, this is terrible. Number two, some reports came out today. Well, an article came out talking about the reason why Tony Parker left. And basically, it was in Tony Parker's words, and he basically said that the reason why he left was because the San Antonio Spurs was going to make him third string, and he didn't want to be on the bench and not play. Now, many comments I've seen on sites like The Score or pages like The Score, Bleacher Report, ESPN, even my page, Spurs Wave, a lot of fans seem to be really upset and bothered by what Tony Parker said. I'm just going to give my opinion on it and how I feel about what Tony Parker said. He also said that the San Antonio Spurs thought that he was going to be like Manu Ginobili and leave. I mean, Manu Ginobili and stay, but he wasn't going to do that because he wanted playing time. He also went on to say that he loved Pop and he still loved the Spurs. Here's my thing. I think fans are overreacting to this news. And it seems as if the fans that are upset about it don't know much about Tony Parker. I love Tony Parker. I've always loved Tony Parker. I'm sure fans, when he was playing for us, loved Tony Parker. And the ones that are upset, they're probably upset because they once did love Tony Parker. Tony Parker has always been the type of player that wanted playing time. I don't know why fans would expect him to stay. If the Spurs gave him information that he might end up being the third string, he's never been that type of player. He's don't get me wrong, he's taking a pay cut. He's unselfish when it comes to the overall generalization of NBA players. He's usually unselfish if you look at most NBA stars or previous NBA All-Stars. He's unselfish when it comes to them. Now, when it comes to a San Antonio Spur, out of the big three, him, Tim Duncan, and Manu, he's always been the most selfish. There's been games where he should have given it to Kawhi Leonard in playoff situations, and instead he took the shot. There's situations even off the court. I won't go all into the Tony Parker issues with his wife and things that he did, but he's always been the type of guy that was a little more selfish than the other players, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying that's just who Tony Parker is. So when I saw the news about Tony Parker saying that he didn't want to be third string, I wasn't surprised. I thought that was the reason why he left. I knew Tony Parker probably even had an issue with not being the starter, even though he took it like a champ and he said, yo, I'm gonna try to help Murray. I was thinking the entire time, I don't know if Tony Parker's gonna stay because he doesn't like not being able to play much. Now, a lot of fans are using the argument saying, well, he would have played plenty this season. Yeah, that's in hindsight. I mean, you're being Captain Hindsight here, because what you're saying is because Murray got hurt, because Lonnie isn't playing, because White got hurt early in the season, Tony Parker would have been able to play. How would Tony Parker have known that? How would the Spurs have known that? He wouldn't have known that. And even in that situation, I don't think Tony Parker would still be comfortable saying, oh, okay, well, now I'm only playing because these guys are hurt, and now I'm fighting for my spot, you know, ahead of these young bucks. And that wouldn't have been helpful for him. That would have been helpful to the Spurs. It wouldn't have been fair to anybody. So a lot of fans that are upset about this, I don't understand what's there to be upset about. Now, some people try to compare it to the Kawhi Leonard situation and said, hey, the only difference between him and Kawhi is he didn't have much drama when he left. And I don't think that's really the case. With Kawhi Leonard, he was our star. He was consistently good on the court, and he straight up just quit on the team, didn't show up, went to New York to rehab. It's a lot of stuff Kawhi Leonard did. And then when he did leave, when we did trade him, he gave fans a half-hearted letter saying, thank you for this and thank you for that. And it was a lot of bullshit. But when it comes to Tony Parker, I think it was a very smooth transition, him leaving the Spurs. I mean, I thought we all were in agreement that was going to happen, that we knew Tony Parker's time was coming near. So all this information with people being upset about the Tony Parker statements that he made about leaving and why he left, I don't understand it, guys. I really don't. My take on it is Tony Parker is who he is. He was with it for 17 years, had 4 championships. I mean, he did his thing. And Tony Parker has always said that he wanted to play and have a significant role on a team for 20 years. That's what he said. He said that. And when 17 years were over, I figured Tony Parker would want to move on because we had so many guards, and Tony Parker not only was inconsistent, but he was getting injured, and he was having injuries that weren't looking good for the rest of his career. So I think it was huge for the Spurs to even offer him a job to begin with. And Tony Parker, he handled it professionally. He didn't badmouth the Spurs. He didn't try to force his way out of that there in mid-season. He didn't do anything crazy. He just said, yo, Pop, I want to play, and I'm going to leave, and I'm going to get my playing time. And Tony Parker has even stated that he's going to come back to the Spurs to retire as a Spur. So that brings me to my next point. People are saying, should Tony Parker be cheered or booed? Listen, guys, when it came to Kawhi Leonard, he deserved every single boo he was given. The things that he did to that franchise, the way that he threw us under the bus, the way that people started talking down about the San Antonio Spurs, coaching staff and medical staff, it wasn't fair. And what he did to his teammates and how he didn't communicate to anybody and just went and did his own thing, and they can't get a hold of him. David Robinson is trying to talk to him, and the only person he can talk to is Uncle Dennis. He deserved every single boo. But Tony Parker helped us get, I won't say gave us, but he helped with 4 championships. He's the greatest Spurs point guard of all time. He helped even when he didn't want to be the second string. He stood in there. He didn't fake an injury and go to New York. He stood in there and helped Murray progress the best he could. He helped Patty Mills progress. He helped Derek White progress. He did everything that he needed to do as a San Antonio Spur. And I'm not shocked that Tony Parker wanted to leave because he wasn't a Manu Ginobili. He wasn't a Tim Duncan. He was his own person, and he was a little more selfish than those guys, and that's fine. Being Manu Ginobili and Tim Duncan unselfish is a whole different level of being unselfish. So my whole thing is this. He deserves every single cheer he's going to get. Nobody's going to boo Tony Parker. Nobody. He's going to get a welcome back on the Jumbotron. It's going to be emotional. People are going to love Tony Parker being there. Spurs fans may even cheer when Tony Parker scores. But he's not going to get the same treatment as Kawhi, and he shouldn't at all. Tony Parker left professionally. Tony Parker did everything he could as a San Antonio Spur. He never quit on the team. He was the perfect Spur. And like I said, yes, he's more selfish than some players. Yes, people like Steven Jackson, which Steven Jackson talks about everybody at this point. I mean, I do not like Steven Jackson yapping his mouth, but even Steven Jackson, I mean, he said that he didn't really like Tony Parker. He said how selfish Tony Parker was. And Spurs fans should see that. Yeah, Tony Parker was kind of selfish, but he could get away with it because he was so good. But I mean, come on, the man gave us 4 championships or helped us with 4 championships. He's a phenomenal Spur. He was a phenomenal Spur, and he's going to retire a Spur when it's all said and done. This move of Tony Parker leaving, instead of us being upset at Tony Parker for leaving, I think we should respect it and be happy that he did, because I thought that it was best for him and it was best for the San Antonio Spurs for him to move on. And that's no knock on him. That's no knock on the Spurs. It's just that we have so many guards. With Murray trying to progress, we didn't know he was going to get hurt. But with Derek White coming up right now and how Derek White is playing, Derek White would not have this type of opportunity if Tony Parker was still on the team. Popovich would have went to what he was used to, and I guarantee you Tony Parker would be starting right now. So I think that this was a great move. I think that the way in which Tony Parker handled it was professionally. And I don't see any reason that he should get any disrespect from fans whatsoever. He did everything he could as a Spur. He did everything he could as a player to be professional, to give 120%. And there's no reason he should get boos. I mean, Tony Parker is the man, and we should cherish Tony Parker for what he did for this franchise, and cherish him for, I mean, just some of the iconic moves that he made popular in the NBA. I mean, you know, Manu gave you the Euro. Well, he didn't give you it, but, you know, he popularized it. Tim Duncan, bank shot. Tony Parker, floater. So that's just my take on it. I don't understand some Spurs fans being upset about it, but that's just me. That's just how I feel. And if you have a different opinion, please leave a comment below and tell me how you feel. This isn't going to be a edited video or anything like that. This is just another quick thought, and I ain't talking about your auntie. And I appreciate all the love you guys have given. I appreciate you guys going to tell your friends about the page and they liking it and sharing it and all that jazz. I really appreciate it. But until next time, Spurs Nights, deuce.